What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown, and in today's video we're doing a walk around and overview with this 2023 BMW X7 M60. So as you know, the X7 just got LCI'd. It got a life cycle impulse or refresh for 2023 models. We do have a video on the xDrive 40i X7, and we went over all the changes for the LCI in that video. But in this video, we're talking about the M60 version of the X7. So the M60 is the V8 version. It replaces the M50 version. It uses a new engine. It has a ton of new styling elements, new interior. So it's a really heavily revised car compared to the 22 models. So it's an important one to talk about. So let's get into it. We'll start underneath the hood. So for 2023, the X7 M60 uses an all-new V8 engine. It's a twin-turbo 4.4 liter V8, which the M50 was as well, but the M60 uses an S68 engine, whereas the M50 used the N63. So this is a full-fledged M engine, just like what you get in the M5, the M8, the M3, M4. Cars like that get the M engines with that S designation. We get the same thing here for the X7, which is not a full-blown M car. It's pretty darn close, but not quite, just an M60 rather than an X7M. Anyway, makes 523 horsepower, which matches the outgoing N63's horsepower figure. However, as we typically are with M cars, we're a little skeptical on that horsepower number. It's probably pretty significantly underrated, but that's what BMW says. 0 to 60 happens in about 4.5 seconds with the xDrive system. So this is really cool to see the S68, the all-new M engine, because this is our first look at it. It will power the new M5 that is upcoming. The XM SUV will use the S68. I'm sure it'll trickle into other models like the M8 and whatnot, the X5M in the future. So this is the new M V8. It replaces the S63. The S63 is gone. It's all about the S68 now and the M V8, so really cool to get a first look at it here in the X7 M60. You can see if you take a look back at the purple cables, like the revised B58 in the xDrive 40, this is a mild hybrid 48 volts, so you get super quiet startups, better efficiency, some torque filling, things like that. And I want to say about the S68, a lot of people online on forums, whatnot, are saying that it's, you know, an S63 that got a little refresh. Not true. I had the pleasure of speaking to some of the engineers that worked on this engine at an event for the X7 a while ago, and they told me that very, very, very few parts are shared between the S68 and the S63. It is a new engine. It is not like an S63. It's not a TU or anything. It's a new engine. So don't be fooled by that same displacement number. So that is what's going on under the hood of the X7 M60. Let's take a look at some of the exterior styling. You can start up front looking at the headlights, which are quite obviously a lot different than 22 models, but looking pretty similar to an xDrive 40 car. You do have like the M Sport bumper styling on the M60. So that gives you these really good looking black kind of fangs that come down from the lower part of the headlight. Up here, your DRLs and turn signals, all of your functional driving lights are down below, low beams, high beams, things like that. You do have a nice big kidney grille, which is trimmed in a flat black. It's an active grille, so if you look behind the slats, you can see, right now I can't poke my fingers through it, but if we got this thing hot and warmed up, we would see the grille open up for extra cooling. You can also see the M badge finds its way into the grille now. That used to be exclusive to M cars. You would only get the M badge in the grille on M cars, but we're seeing that. The LCI X3s and X4s have that actually, the M40s, and we see it again on the M60 as well. By the way, this car's finished in Black Sapphire Metallic, really nice, classy spec, black on black. If you want to come around to the side, we can take a look at these wheels. So these are a 22 running a 275 wide tire in the front, super wide tire. You can option up to a 23 on the X7 now, on the M60 as well, so you can get a pretty big 23-inch wheel. The smallest wheel you can get on an M60 is a 21, so the wheel options are all trending towards that increase in size. You can see the M Sport brake caliper back there is painted in black with the M logo, if you can get a look at that peeking through the wheels. And I really like this wheel design, by the way. It's new for the LCI. Looks really nice. Kind of has like a spider web-like effect with the silver accents on the face. This looks like a machined finish. Then you have the black or sort of anthracite inside the spokes, which looks really cool. Looking at some styling down the side of the car, we do have a really subtle black side vent here. It's black on a black car, so it blends in really nicely. Just an extra little bit of flare down there going down the side of the car. We have our roof rails also trimmed in gloss black. And of course you do have M winged mirrors as well on the M60. So this is starting to become an M design trait kind of staple. You saw it on M3s of the past. Now it's on pretty much any car that has an exterior M badge, like an M40, M60, cars like that. In the future will all get these M wing mirrors. Looks really nice, little extra flare. If we want to come around to the back wheel, it is also a 22. It is staggered in width though. This is a 315 wide back tire, which is a really wide tire for an all-wheel drive SUV that's not even technically a full M vehicle. Super wide tire. So rear traction will not be something that you'll be struggling for, no doubt about that. Also, while we're looking at the rear of the vehicle, something to note about the M60 is that it comes with the rear steering, so the integral active steering with rear axle steering is standard on M60s. Talking about the suspension, it is a 2-axle self-leveling air suspension, so you can adjust it up and down as you choose. We'll show you that switch inside. It also has the road preview active comfort drive, so the car will basically watch the suspension ahead of the road. You can look at the suspension with some cameras up front and it will adjust. It can look at the road with the cameras up front and it'll adjust the suspension accordingly. If it sees like some nice smooth sweepers coming up, it'll tighten up the suspension to give you the best feel. If it sees some potholes, it can actually adjust and preload the suspension to make those potholes as non-jarring as possible, which is really cool. All those things I just said are standard on the X7 M60. Looking at the rear of the car as far as back-end styling, you can see down low we have really close to a quad exhaust. So as you guys know, BMW reserves the quad exhaust, the true quad exhaust. If you want to pan over to the right here, we actually have 2 M cars. We have an M6 in for service and we have an M3. That is a true quad tip exhaust right there. This is getting really close to that. So you have the exhaust tips, the 2 exhaust tips behind, and then you have the kind of quad surround. It's not quite a full quad exhaust, but really close. So the M60 is as close to a full-blown M car as you'll ever get as we've ever gotten so far in just like an M performance car. So you have a near quad exhaust, you have a full S engine, an M department engine, you have carbon fiber trim, you have M-wing mirrors, so it's really close to a full-blown M car. Which is cool to see. The X7 M60 is really stepping its game up for 2023, which is awesome. So as far as LCI changes out back, the taillights are really the only change that you'll see there. They have a cool kind of pattern design on the outside of the taillight over here. You have a nice chrome strip going across the back of the car from taillight to taillight, and a really big M60 badge. Here's my hand for comparison. That is a big badge, really prominently displaying the M60 nomenclature. It's new, so cool to show it off a little bit. But that is going to do it for the exterior styling of the X7 M60. We're going to pop the trunk, check out the rear seats and the cockpit as well, show you guys some of those practicality elements as well as interior features. So let's do that. All right, so around back of the X7 M60, we can go ahead and pop the trunk open. You can see that storage space is plentiful, especially with our 3rd row folded down. We do have our cargo cover here for when the 3rd row is up, but you can see the trunk is huge, plenty of space with the 2nd row in place. And if you want to go a little step further, this car does have a bench seat for the 2nd row, so you can actually fold down the 2nd row completely flat, which you cannot do with captain's chairs, and you'll see that that gives you a truly massive storage area. You could probably fit a twin bed back here and set up shop, camp for the night or something like that. That is how much space you have in the back with that bench seat folded down, which is really nice to see. If we want to fold all those seats back up, it's super easy. You can just press the Max People button over here, and that will fold up our 3rd row. as well as our second row as well for maximum people carrying capability. And as you can see, with the third row up, even still enough storage space for groceries or things like that. So if you are carrying 7 people in the car, you still have space. Maybe not quite enough for 7 people's luggage, but you can have 7 people and some groceries, maybe a couple bags, things like that. You do have some space underneath. We have our floor mats and things under there now, so it is occupied, but plenty of space down there as well, and your storage for your cargo cover when the third row of seats is folded down. So that is the cargo area for the X7. Let's hop around to the side of the car, go over some of the rear seat space. Unlock the car first would probably help. Bear with me. There we go. So back seat space is, again, really good. Just like the cargo area, you can see sitting behind my own driver's position, I'm about 5'9". This is where I would sit, and I have really, really ample leg room, feet room. I have a place to put my feet. Headroom, obviously not a problem at all. So plenty of room back here. Even for 3 adults, you'd be okay because you do have a bench seat. Although you can fold down this center armrest for some cup holders and an armrest, as well as a little bit of storage in here as well. I do have heated seats back here, 2 climate zones for each side, and with the Climate Comfort Pack, you get 5-zone climate control, which gives you another zone for the third row. If you want to see more about the third row space, we did go into that in a little bit more detail in the previous X7 video on the xDrive 40 model. I actually climbed in the third row myself, and I had plenty of space back there. It's super comfortable, even for a full-grown adult. So if you want to see that, watch that video. But for now, let's wrap up with the rear seats and storage space and hop up front and go over that new iDrive 8 display screen, as well as the other interior elements in the X7 M60. All right, so here we are up front and inside of the 23 X7 M60. So let's talk about what is unique for the M60. To start, you do have carbon fiber trim available, which you cannot get on the xDrive 40 models. Certain features are standard on the M60, such as the Harman Kardon speakers. Those are standard. You can still option up to a Bowers & Wilkins if you would like to, but Harman Kardon is standard in M60s, and it sounds fantastic. You have a really nice Alcantara headliner, and as you look at the sunroof, not sure how well it'll show up on camera, but you have those little dots for your skylight, kind of sky lounge, which gets the ambient lighting going in the sunroof, which looks really, really nice at nighttime. The seats, we'll talk about those, are super comfortable. Multi-contour seats are standard on all 2023 X7s, but the M60 gets them as well, of course, and they're super comfortable, really adjustable. This particular car is optioned with massaging seats as well, so a really comfortable place to be in the X7 with the multi-contour seats, which you can adjust in as many ways as you would possibly want. There's a comfortable driving position for everyone. Steering wheel is power adjustable as well, which is nice to see. That is a standard feature. As far as technology, obviously we're working with iDrive 8, so that is our 14.9-inch center display and 12-inch instrument cluster, all combined into one big central screen. iDrive 8 is new for 2023 X7s, and it works really well. We have multiple videos on our channel. We have a deep dive into iDrive 8. We have the old X7 video, or the 23 X7, but the previous X7 video on the xDrive 40. So we have more details on iDrive 8 if you'd like to watch those on our channel, but the quick and short of it is it's a fantastic system. It works really well. It's easy to learn. If you're used to iDrive 7, it's a quick and easy transition. Highly customizable home screen, gauge cluster, as well. All of the connectivity like Apple CarPlay, that's all wireless. So great system that retains the iDrive knob as well, so you don't even have to touch the screen if you don't want to. You have your iDrive knob here. In this case, it has glass controls, so you get the glass shift switch, start-stop button, and iDrive knob as well. While we're in this area, you can see the air suspension adjustment, so we can raise and lower the car with this adjustment switch right here. The shifter is new, again, for 2023. That is found its way into the X7 from the iX. The new 3 Series also gets that new shifter, so BMW is going this way, the smaller kind of rocker switch shifter, in a lot of the upcoming models. As far as the driver focus stuff, again, really nice. You have a really nice thick M steering wheel. Another trend of the M60 kind of being more close to a full M car than any non-M car has been before. It does have the hollow third spoke as well as M tricolor stitching, so pretty close to an M wheel. Actually, this is the wheel that you would get in an M car besides the M1 and M2 buttons, maybe some carbon trim as well if you get it in like a G80 with carbon trim. The shift paddles feel really nice with an aluminum-like finish on the surface facing the driver. This car does have Drive Assist Pro, so you have the LED lights in the steering wheel as well as your controls for lane keep assist over here on the left side of the steering wheel. And a quick note about the M60 specifically, if we look in the gauge cluster, you can see that about the top third of the rev counter there is grayed out. So that's because this car, because it uses an M engine, has a break-in period. So if we go to our vehicle status here, you can see that one of our check control messages says run in engine for 310 miles, power reduced. That is something you should expect to see when you take delivery of your X7 M60. If you do have to brake in the engine, so you should avoid full throttle. It won't let you rev out all the way because of that limiter. It will shift for you around 4,500 RPMs. So it has a break-in period because it's an M engine. 310 miles on the M3, M5, it is 1,200 miles. So a little bit different, but that notification just is a reminder that you're dealing with a serious engine developed by the M department. So that's something you won't see in xDrive 40 models as well in the 23 X7. Another really nice design feature, by the way, is the way that this interaction bar is set up. This is kind of a preview of something we're going to see on the new 7 Series, which we're really excited for, but this bar that goes from here over towards the end, in the X7 is mostly for aesthetic purposes. It does house your climate control vents. But in the 7 Series, it'll have some controls and some more features to it, but you can move your climate vents around like this, twist to the left to close the vent, and you do have an ambient lighting bar over there on the right with the M logo. Going to be really tough to see in the daytime, but when you switch the car to Sport, that ambient lighting becomes red, Comfort it's white, and then Eco Pro it goes to a greenish blue color. So cool to see that integrated into the dashboard, which looks really nice, especially with all this gloss black, some of the silver carbon fiber. It's just a nice classy color combo on the inside of the X7 here. As far as additional features that you would expect to see on an X7, you do have your sunshades. Like we said, you do have the massaging seats, the leather dashboard, the optional Bowers & Wilkins sound system. So it can be optioned up way higher than this one is. This one's actually pretty well equipped, but you can go even higher up in the X7 to make it a full-blown luxury SUV with really incredible features, which is really nice to see. It's a BMW that wears a 7 on its tailgate, so it has to be a good luxury car, and the X7 certainly is. You can option it really, really high up with some incredible luxury features, which is awesome to see. Just a little preview of the new 7 Series as well, some of the design features and options and whatnot. So cool to check out the 23 X7, but that's going to do it for the interior. Let's hop outside and wrap up with our final thoughts. All right, so that is going to do it for this walk around and overview of the 2023 X7 M60i. Hope that gave you guys a good idea of what it's like to check out the X7 M60 in person. Hopefully we were able to bring the car to you through video, go over all the features, get you familiar. If you have any questions about the X7 M60, please drop them down in a comment below. We respond to all of our comments, and we're super active on our YouTube channel with comments, our other socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, replying to DMs, responding to comments, all that kind of stuff. So follow us over there at BMW of Morristown. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you think we deserved it. And that'll do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.